James Cameron's Avatar, Fire and Ash once again proves that no one builds worlds like him. From the very first frame, the film is visually stunning. The colors are rich, the landscapes are massive, and every scene feels carefully designed. Cameron's technical brilliance is on full display, reminding audiences why the Avatar franchise is considered a visual landmark in cinema. The film introduces new regions of Pandora, filled with fire-themed landscapes and ash-covered terrain. Lava rivers, glowing skies, and intense elemental imagery dominate the screen. These visuals are breathtaking and often feel like living artwork. Watching the film in a theater feels immersive, almost like stepping into another world. However, once the initial excitement of the visuals fades, the story begins to feel slow and repetitive. The film spends a lot of time showing beautiful scenery, but very little time moving the plot forward. Scenes stretch longer than needed, making the pacing feel heavy and tiring. The characters, while familiar, do not evolve much. Jake Sully and Neytiri remain strong presences, but their emotional journey feels stuck in the same place as earlier films. New characters are introduced, yet they lack depth and do not leave a strong impact. Dialogues often feel flat and predictable. Many conversations repeat themes about balance, nature, and conflict, without adding anything new. What once felt powerful in the first Avatar now feels overused and less meaningful. The film's runtime adds to the problem. At several moments, it feels like the story could have been told in a much shorter time. Long action sequences and extended visual montages slow the film down instead of building excitement. While the action scenes are technically impressive, they lack emotional tension. Battles look grand but feel empty because the stakes are unclear. It becomes hard to stay invested when the outcome feels obvious. The villain, once again, does not bring enough complexity. The conflict feels recycled from earlier films, making the narrative predictable. Instead of surprising the audience, the story follows a familiar path without taking risks. Music and sound design remain strong, adding atmosphere to Pandora. Still, even the powerful background score cannot hide the lack of engaging storytelling. Style dominates substance throughout the film. By the second half, the film begins to feel exhausting rather than exciting. The constant visual overload, combined with slow storytelling, makes it difficult to stay emotionally connected. James Cameron's ambition is clear, and his dedication to visual innovation is undeniable. However, cinema is not just about how a film looks, but also how it makes the audience feel. In this case, the heart of the story feels missing. Avatar, Fire and Ash may impress viewers who love visual spectacle, but for those looking for a strong, engaging story, the experience may feel dull and overly long. In the end, the film proves that even the most beautiful visuals cannot fully save a movie that lacks emotional depth and narrative momentum. It is a technical achievement, but a storytelling disappointment. This Imagine review reflects a critical perspective that values story as much as spectacle, reminding us that great cinema needs both. Another issue is the emotional distance between the audience and the characters. Despite spending a long time with them on screen, the film rarely makes viewers feel deeply connected to their struggles. Emotional moments feel rushed or underdeveloped, reducing their impact. The film relies heavily on visual symbolism instead of clear storytelling. While Fire and Ash are used as powerful images, their meaning is not explored enough within the story. As a result, the themes feel more decorative than meaningful. Some scenes feel like repeats of earlier Avatar moments, only with a new visual twist. This makes the film feel familiar rather than fresh. Viewers who hoped for bold storytelling choices may find themselves disappointed. The world of Pandora continues to expand, but the expansion comes without emotional grounding. New cultures and environments are introduced quickly and then left behind without proper development. There is also a lack of urgency throughout the film. Even during moments of conflict, the pacing remains slow. This removes tension and makes the story feel flat. The film seems more interested in setting up future installments than telling a complete story. Many plot threads are left unresolved, making the movie feel like a long preview rather than a standalone experience. Humor is almost entirely absent, making the tone feel overly serious and heavy. Without lighter moments, the film becomes emotionally draining instead of engaging. For casual viewers, the film may feel inaccessible. It demands patience and attention, but does not always reward it with strong emotional payoffs. Repeated themes of environmental destruction are present, but they are delivered without new insight. What once felt urgent now feels familiar and predictable. The film's length also affects rewatch value. While individual scenes may look stunning, watching the entire film again may feel like a chore rather than a pleasure. Despite its flaws, the film will likely perform well due to its visual appeal and the strength of the Avatar brand. Fans of the franchise may still find enjoyment in returning to Pandora. However, for viewers who value storytelling above spectacle, the film may feel hollow. The lack of character growth and narrative surprise makes it hard to recommend beyond its visuals. In the long run, Avatar, Fire and Ash may be remembered more for how it looks than how it feels. That imbalance is its biggest weakness. This fictional review highlights a growing concern in modern cinema that technology alone cannot replace emotional storytelling. Even in an imagined future, audiences still want stories that move them, not just visuals that impress them. The film also struggles with its sense of identity. It is unclear whether it wants to be an emotional family story or a large-scale war film. Because it tries to be both, it does not fully succeed at either. Several supporting characters feel underused. They appear in important scenes but are given very little background. This makes their presence feel weak and forgettable. The editing choices slow down the momentum. Transitions between scenes are often long and unnecessary, making the film feel heavier than it needs to be. While the visual effects are impressive, they sometimes feel overwhelming. The constant focus on spectacle leaves little room for quiet, emotional moments. The Fire and Ash theme suggests danger and transformation, but the story does not fully explore these ideas. The theme remains on the surface instead of shaping the characters' journeys. The film's action scenes are beautifully staged but lack surprise. Many sequences follow familiar patterns, reducing excitement. At times, the movie feels more like a visual exhibition than a narrative film. It showcases technology rather than telling a compelling story. The emotional stakes are repeatedly explained instead of being shown. This weakens the impact and makes the storytelling feel forced. The absence of strong character arcs is noticeable. By the end of the film, most characters remain unchanged, which makes the long runtime feel unjustified. The movie also struggles to balance world-building with plot. Too much time is spent explaining the world, while the main story remains thin.